full cents. Lots of cents. All the cents.
How much cents? Like $1 of cents?
Every cent ever.
Every cent. That's a lot of cents.
Exactly.
We could probably buy a small building.
It makes a lot of sense. Welcome to SpellCast, the Gaming Wizards podcast. Our discussion that we were just having has nothing to do with this. We were going to talk about Super Smash Brothers, the new one.
Yeah.
John has it, I don't.
You should get it.
Eventually, when I have money.
That is fair. If I had to make a recommendation, I would say to, download it. Because, let's be honest here, that's a game you're always going to want to have on hand. That was kind of my logic. It's like, I'd like a physical copy, but if I download it, I'll always have it on me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
On the other hand, a physical copy you could, resell.
Yeah, if you don't want it anymore.
Yeah. But
or, just let somebody borrow.
Yeah. But who would get rid of a Smash Bros. Game? I mean, those people are crazy.
Well, if the new one's not really good, or if it's not what they're expecting, or maybe they decide they're better off with the Wii version, or the Wii U version, I'm sorry. Because, there are people who are like that. Like, oh, I don't like handheld games. Those are for losers, or scrubs, or kids, or whatever.
Fair enough. I myself have the issue of, I have a hard time focusing on a handheld game, because I want to do something with a bigger screen often. It's I'll do computer stuff.
Yeah, I have the opposite problem. I have the same, thing, but it's not a problem, because I focus less at a time, but I play, more often, so I get about the same amount done in a given game if it's on a handheld.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I actually really like the new Smash Bros. So far. Some of the new items are a little weird. I'm not 100% sure what all of them do, honestly.
Anything I say about this is going to be only my experience with the demo, because, like I said, I don't have it.
Yeah. It has the little bug claw thing from Skyward Sword, and I've seen it drop a couple times, but I've never actually used it. I've never seen what it actually does.
Huh.
But, a couple weird ones, there's the little ships from Galaga, and they'll, abduct you. It's they do, the beam, like they do when they go to steal your ship.
Oh, yeah?
And they'll just, drag you off the top of the screen. So
and it's an instant KO?
Yeah, you have to struggle to get out of it.
Okay, so you can get out of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they'll just, straight abduct you, and the AI on lower difficulties doesn't do that. They just, let themselves get carried away. It's kind of funny.
AI.
The AI is actually really difficult on higher difficulties.
There's another item that's kind of like that I've run into in the demo. It's like a little 8-bit flag or something, and if you hold it and use it, it basically just I guess it probably doesn't show up in stock battle, but in score battle, it gives you a point.
Huh.
But you have to hold it, and it prevents you from doing anything until it's done, and it takes 10 or 15 seconds to work, so you can lose it easily. But if you can hold on to it long enough, it just gives you a point.
It's really weird.
I was that's interesting. I don't know how useful that would be ever, really, because everyone's going to be... against the NPCs, obviously, if they're stupid and not... if they're too busy fighting each other and not focusing on you, you can just stand to the side and get a free point.
Yeah. I could see you being able to pull that off maybe in, a large free-for-all with multiple people, or, even a team battle, because you could have your ally protect you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I can definitely see how that would be a little less useful against human players.
Yeah.
So what characters are in the demo? I know there's only 5 or something.
It's Mario, Link, Pikachu, Mega Man, and Villager.
Okay. So you only get 2 of the new characters.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a lot of new characters. Unfortunately, there's a lot of clones still. Because, I actually haven't really played Dark Pit, but from my understanding, he plays exactly like regular Pit, but hits a little harder or something, and annoying. Moves a little slower. Yeah, it's kind of like Captain Falcon versus Ganondorf. They play exactly the same.
So Ganondorf still doesn't have his own moveset?
Nope. And from my understanding, like with the whole custom moves you can do, first of all, you have to unlock all of them, and basically you unlock them like randomly. So you have to kind of get lucky. But there's one where he has his sword for like a standard B, but it's basically the same as the punch. He like pulls out the sword and stabs like with the punch, but I don't know, maybe it's a little faster or something, who knows. It's not like it's something I've checked, but
it's still basically the same exact thing.
Yeah, it just looks different.
Like slow charge, massive hit, and they go flying.
Yeah. So a little disappointing. I guess a lot of the moves are like that for like the alternate, where it's very similar, almost the same move, maybe with like a slight difference to it. I haven't messed much with the regular characters. I've more messed with the Miis. And I kind of like what they did with those, because like a lot of their moves are moves of other characters. For example, the Gunner Mii. For your standard B, you can have like a just regular little pea shooter like Fox, basically.
Oh, yeah?
Or you can have a charge shot like Samus. And then I think the other one, it's a like grenade, but you can like hold it to launch it further. So that's kind of cool. That one's a little unique to that. But then like their down B, you have like the absorb shield that like Ness has, a reflector like Fox, Falco.
So you can basically just mix and match whatever moves you like
Yeah.
from whatever character. That's kind of cool.
But and then there's always that one that's kind of unique for the Miis. So I like all three of the styles. I think the one I'm best with is probably Gunner. And then a couple of their like standard A moves are obviously stolen from other characters. Like the Gunner, their like up smash. It's the same as Samus's, the like fire multi-hit thing. So like part of me is a little disappointed that they have like a few of their moves that are just another character's moves, but they play different enough that it's not like you're just playing a version of that character that looks like whatever your Mii looks like. Or if you're Mii, you make Miis of everything you can possibly think of, and I have like 12 Mii characters already. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I want to say like a lot of the Sword Mii's abilities are different versions of like Ike and Marth. Like for the forward B, one of the ones you can have is the like charge forward slash that Ike has.
Oh, yeah, the like...
Yeah, where you like hold it and then he dashes.
Yeah, his side B.
Yeah. And then for like standard B, you have an attack where you can just like stab, or like you can charge stab. But it's like a multi-hit thing. So it's kind of like Marth's, where it's like... But it's a little different because like you charge and then you hit, and it's like a multi-hit thing. It's like... It's probably your best launch move as a Sword Mii, though. Like, their regular smash attacks don't seem to be very effective at launching. I don't know if it's just, like, you need to do, like, the custom stat thing and have that turned on to really have launching potential with those, or what, but they don't seem like they have a lot of just standard launch potential. But the special moves are varied enough that you can usually have a good launch with them.
Can I just bring up the fact that one of your Mii fighters is Kawaii Mecha Hitler?
Yeah, no. I was trying to think of like Mii's to make, and someone mentioned Hitler. I was like, I should just make him kawaii as fuck. Like, where's the most kawaii eyes I can? So it's like the big eyes with the big sparkles in them, and I give him little kissy lips. Yeah, no. Only slightly a terrible person.
If you can get me a screenshot of that, I will put it up right here.
Okay, yeah, no, I can at least get you a screenshot of like the Mii's face. There's a way to do that with the 3DS.
Oh yeah,
easily.
that's true, huh?
So I can do that.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Considering that one of the custom Mii's we made on my Wii, like the original, was a Nazi.
Yeah,
the
no,
little midget Nazi.
Yeah, this little fat guy with the. Yeah. Didn't he have like a buzz cut?
Yeah.
Like a blonde buzz cut and then the little stash.
The Hitler stash.
That's funny. God, we made so many... Well, I made so many Miis on your Wii when you first got that thing.
No face.
How many were there? There was
no face.
Well, like, number-wise, I want to say there was like 50 Miis on your Wii.
I don't know if there was that many, but you did make a lot of weird ones.
You should boot your Wii up and find that out later.
Yeah.
Find out how many there were.
Like, I know we had, like, every comic shorts character ever.
Yeah.
Even some that, like, aren't characters anymore, I think, but...
Possibly. Yeah. I made a lot of characters, and there were a lot that never made it into the comic, and probably for the best. Like, going across some of those old sketches, some of the ideas I had were just, like, the joke was the character's name.
Yeah.
that was it. They had no purpose other than the name and the, like, joke of it. God. I'm so glad that I don't design characters like that anymore.
It was a phase.
Yeah. I know one of them was actually based on a character that I had made in Mortal Kombat's character creator. Like, that's where I came up with, like, their design and stuff. God. That was, like, the one good thing to come out of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Like, that game was, like, as far as Mortal Kombat games go. The story was meh, and it didn't have unique fatalities for any of the characters, which was, like, half of the reason why you play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But you could make characters, and there were hair options in there that were very obviously designed to be certain characters. So you can make, like, Sailor Moon and have it look exactly like Sailor Moon, except kind of ugly and buff in the face.
Yeah, that was one of the things about Mortal Kombat. Everyone was, like, on steroids.
Basically. But, like, I know I made, like, Cloud Strife that looked spot on.
Yeah.
Sephiroth looked pretty good. The hair wasn't quite long enough, but there was one that you could use that worked.
I think we made Taily, too, didn't we?
We might have.
I seem to remember that. But considering you make her in, like, everything, that might not be saying much.
Yeah, anymore I do. It's, like, my go-to character for role-playing RPGs, like Dragon Age and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I actually think it started with the first Dragon Age. I was just like, I'm going to make my character Taily. Because reasons.
I mean, she has that design where she fits into fantasy worlds, because that's what she was originally designed from. So that it makes sense. And
but she also fits into sci-fi worlds, because that's kind of what comic shorts is sci-fi.
Well, yeah.
So even, like, though design-wise it doesn't match always, it will match, like, theme-wise.
I guess. I was just thinking, because, like, most of the, like, Elder Scrolls and Dragon Age and all that, they're fantasy games. So you have, like, the armor and everything like that, and the classes like Rogue and Warrior and all that stuff. So Taily's obviously Rogue.
Yeah.
Like, no contest there.
I think part of why I use her, like, started using her with that, too, is because that's what I play. Like, I usually play a rogue-style character.
We've definitely talked about all this before, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Shit.
Shit, dude,
I just, like, stopped the conversation.
Good job.
I was like, don't talk about that, we already did that! Chirp, chirp, chirp. Well, what else are we going to talk about?
Actually, though, speaking of that, isn't the new Dragon Age supposed to be coming out soon?
I have no idea.
Like...
I haven't been following it. I played, like, an hour into the first one. I was just like, maybe I'll go back to it someday.
If you played an hour into the first game, you didn't play, like, any of it. That's, like, that's not even 1% of the game.
I know, like, I can tell you exactly where I left off. It's right where you drink the, like, evil blood or something, and the guy pussies out, and he's like, well, I have to kill you now. He's like, wait.
I have to kill you now. You know our secret.
Yeah, really.
Oh!
Like, that was literally the last thing I did.
Yeah, Duncan's kind of a badass. Just like, I'm just gonna stab this fucker because reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Fucking go for it, bro.
Here, drink this. He's like, I don't want to. I'll kill you. I mean, I'm gonna kill you anyway because you just refused to do something. So you gotta die.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the very last thing I ever did. And then I saved the game. It's like, I'll come back to this later, and then I just never did.
I know that was one of those games that I wanted to play, but I wanted to do it a little bit at a time. Not just play through it straight through for the channel, because it would be like Chrono Trigger, but probably longer, if I had to guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's weird how RPGs have gotten so much longer without having a lot
more content to them.
Yeah, I mean, Chrono Trigger, that's how long did we spend in that? It was almost 100 episodes at 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, no,
and that's 8 or 9 hours at least.
Yeah, it was definitely longer than that, though, total.
For Final Fantasy 13,
yeah.
That's the tutorial.
Yeah.
And you don't use half the stuff you learned in the tutorial.
God. One of the ways, when I think about 13, I have and after playing 6, which I played after 13 for my first time, I found, an interesting comparison. So, 6, really old game, has a party that is more than twice the size of 13. You have 14 playable characters. Every single one of them is interesting, has backstory, has side quests.
And they have completely different mechanics, too.
Yeah, they all feel different. They all... And, you want to know more about them. They all have their own personalities and stuff. 13, you have 6 characters. Not a single one of them is interesting. Only, 2 of them have any real character development.
And 2 of them are annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, there's...
what happened? The game is, 10 times as long to complete. It's...
And you have... Okay, the 2 characters who are annoying. You have the one character who's, an emo little bitch. And the other one who's, Pinkie Pie on crack. It's happy, happy, happy all the time. Let's be positive. It's we are going to die in 3 days if we don't do this shit. Shut the fuck up and let us do it.
Yeah, really. But it's just what happened? What happened, Square? You have much better technology, but none of the characters play very differently.
I think
one you
part
only
of the
control
thing
one
is
of them, and the other ones you just kind of have
I think
auto
part of it
command.
is the new technology. Honestly, they have so much more to work with, and they want to make the most of it, and the writing kind of gets pushed to the side because all the budget is going to all the I'm not going
all
to
the
argue.
Pretty graphics.
I'm not going to argue that Final Fantasy 13 is not one of the prettiest games I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
But that's all there is to it. The combat system kind of sucks. The characters are all boring. The gameplay is linear as fuck for an RPG, and the tutorial is 10 hours long.
You're getting tutorials all the way through the first disc, and it's literally half the game.
There you go.
As far as the 360 version goes, because they had to split it to 3 discs.
Yeah. I mean, did FF6 even specifically tell you how to use any of the characters? I don't remember.
Not really, no.
There wasn't a tutorial that came up whenever you got somebody new. It's
no,
here's how you use this character.
Remember when we first got, what's his actual name? Sabine. Guile. You have to know how to use his combos.
Yeah.
They don't actually tell you how to do any of that. They don't tell you how to work that mechanic. Remember, we got confused when we first used it because we're wait, how do you do this?
Yeah, but we figured it out because we're not dumbasses.
Yeah.
We didn't need a tutorial being hey, here's how you use Sabine. You go to this menu, and then enter a combination. If it does anything, he'll do a thing.
Yeah.
That's just what you kind of figure out how to do on your own. And then there's the little animal kid who learns moves from other places.
Yeah, he's the monster skill character. We never really used him.
Yeah, we didn't.
Because you have to do a obscene amount of grinding to get his abilities. So we never really used him. We just kind of stuck with Sabine, Terra,
they were the mains, and the third one was just kind of interchangeable with whoever we needed.
Well, we always used the prince, Edgar.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he
has like the gadgets.
Yeah, he had the gadgets, and they were OP as fuck.
Yeah, that's right.
He like one-shot half our enemies. We're just like, yeah, we'll just send him in. Let him do the work.
Tamaki.
Yeah, Tamaki.
Oh, I'm just going to activate my overpowered weapon and kill everything.
It was funny because at the time I hadn't seen Orin, and
yeah.
I was the one who like thought that was the name we should use. And then after I saw Orin, I was like, wow, that was like perfect. They have such similar personalities in their scenes. Yeah, I was going to say about Dragon Age, though, for playing it on the channel, the game itself kind of breaks itself up into sections.
Mm-hmm.
So, after you do, like, the first part of the game, like the intro and get past all that, there's these treaties that you get. You did that part, because it's part of what you do when you go to get the blood. You do it while you're in the woods.
Yeah.
There's the treaties for all the different tribes that they're supposed to help the Grey Wardens. And so from there, the game kind of breaks up into sections. You can go to the dwarves, the elves, or the mages to, like, you know, be like, hey, we have these treaties that say you have to help us. Come help us, you fuckers. And obviously there's stuff going on in each of those areas. And then there's one other area you can go to. It's the Arl of Redcliffe or whatever. And I think he had, like, some relation with Alistair. And that's why you go there, because... like, Alistair's like, he'll help us because he's influential and he can help us deal with all this political bullshit that's going on. So, I was thinking for, like, when we play at the channel, we could do, like, the first section, which is, like, all the intro stuff. And then we can take a break from the game, play a couple other games, and then, like, do the next section and break up the game like that, so that we don't have, like, this dragging, long, 500-episode series that's just... like, when are they going to play something else?
Yeah. Maybe after we finish the Mega Man games that we've got on our list, because the way we're doing it now, we're kind of like doing like game, Mega Man game, Mega Man game. So after we run out of Mega Man X games, we can like start doing Dragon Age maybe, and just have that be our like in between other game series.
Yeah, that could work. And we're actually like halfway through playing all the Mega Man games.
Yeah, we've got like 4 more to go?
Yeah, well, so 4 more X games. There's X5, X6, X7, X8. And then we wanted to do Mega Man Legends 2.
Yeah.
Which we can do.
Which we did, sort of,
like,
mostly.
We did Legends. There was a slight fuck-up with the recording, which afterwards we realized we could have just loaded the save state.
Yeah.
And, like...
done everything again.
Yeah, which would have been tedious, but we would have had footage for it at least.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But, yeah, whatever.
It's not like it was half a Let's Play or anything. It was like 5 episodes worth of footage.
Yeah, no, it was a short bit. But, yeah, I would like to do Legends too. Like, since we did like 4 X games and then Legends, I feel we could do it the same way. Just finish the last 4 X games and then do Legends. Mm-hmm. Technically, we could do Command Mission as well.
The one that nobody likes.
It's not that no one likes
it. RPG.
It's like, it got bad reviews. And I think it got bad reviews because it's an RPG and people weren't expecting that. Uh-huh. But as far as people I've met that have played the game, like, they said it's, like, everyone I've met that's played it has liked it. They're like, it's not a bad game at all. It's fairly decent.
So the reviewers are full of shit, basically.
Basically.
That makes sense.
I feel like magazine reviews and stuff... Sometimes I kind of feel like if someone does something with a franchise that's out of what you would expect with the franchise, they give it bad reviews to discourage that kind of exploration.
Yeah.
Because, like...
magazine reviews are kind of, like, on the way out, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are.
Because everyone's doing, like, YouTube reviews and stuff now, and I cannot think of a single advantage that a written text review would have over a video review where you can actually show footage and it's not just your word that something happened the way it is. You can be like, okay, look at me trying to do this thing. I'm trying to do this thing and it's not working. This game is glitchy or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're actually showing it. And plus there's the fact that you're showing actual footage of the game and people can be like, oh, that looks like a game that I would want to play, or that doesn't look like my kind of game. I think I'll give that one a pass.
Yeah, no.
Whereas a magazine's just going to have like a few screenshots and be like, well, I can't really tell what's going on here. What kind of game is this? Oh, it says it's a action platformer RPG. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's this kind of game in this video where you're doing all this stuff. That looks cool. I'll give that a look.
Yeah. Game magazines like that in general are kind of like on the way out, really. They're still kind of cool, some of them. Like, there are some things about them that are kind of neat, like, especially if you find old magazines.
Yeah.
It's always funny to, like, go back and read, like, oh, they were so excited for this game to come out, and it was utter shit.
Or, this game was going to be so cool, but then it got canceled.
Yeah. Like, I think stuff like that's always fun.
Like, fucking StarCraft Ghost was supposed to be, like, some awesome game.
And it never got finished.
I see, like, a preview and tips and tricks. It's like, oh, cool, it's going to be an action, like, first-person stealth kind of game. And then it's, like, 10 years later, and it never came out.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's sad. It probably would have... It probably may... Well, I don't know. It was Blizzard doing something new, so... I mean, it's kind of a coin toss whether it would have been any good or not.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is, I remember, there was one of my game magazines. It was, like... I think it was PSN or something. They had, like a summer swimsuit issue where there was, like, 10 pages in the middle that had different video game characters in, like, sexy swimsuits and stuff. And one of the characters was actually the character of that. Like, that was
in StarCraft Ghost?
Yeah. It was, like, the main character of that was one of the ones in there. And I remember, like, trying to look up the character and be like, oh, it's a game that doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's the thing that happened. I mean,
I still have that magazine somewhere.
At least it got officially canceled, and it's not like constantly, oh, we're working on it. We're working on it.
It's not just in, like, strange limbo.
It's not just, like, out there. Like, it's been officially canceled by this point. So at least there's that.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, there was Duke Nukem Forever, which took forever to come out, and for the longest time that was like the joke. It's like, oh, they call it Duke Nukem Forever because it's gonna be forever before it comes out, and it finally came out and everybody fucking hated it.
Yeah, it was just
like, oh god, this game's terrible, it's bullshit, what the fuck, we waited so long and this is what you gave us. I mean, what?
Yeah, I heard it, like, it came out and it's like, haha, see, look, this is funny because it's how the old games were. This is the same stuff from the old games.
Okay. To make a parody, you can't just do the things the other thing did. You have to make it funny or ironic. Just doing it yourself and calling attention to it, that's not really how it works.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's part of it. You got about half of the joke. The other half is to actually make it funny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just doing what they did.
Oh well. I think everyone knew that, like, Duke Nukem Forever, the day it comes out, is just going to be god-awful. There's no way it's going to end up good if it actually comes out.
I'm pretty sure there were people out there who were expecting it to be amazing, but yeah, it ultimately disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid for Half-Life 3. Like, it's been 10 years, I think, almost, since it was announced to like they did the episode 1, episode 2, and then episode 3 was supposed to come out shortly after episode 2, and then after a while it's like, you know what, it's just gonna be 3. Like, there's no episode 3, it's just gonna be Half-Life 3 at this point, and we're still waiting on that.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, it plays exactly like Half-Life 2 and episodes 1 and 2 did.
Yeah. And
people are gonna hate that because, well, it's just going to be more... I could just play Half-Life 2. Why would I want to play a third one? It's just the story is different. I mean, best case scenario...
They actually improve on things.
Yeah, but I mean...
something a little new to it.
The Half-Life series has always been a basic first-person shooter, though. There hasn't really been all that much to improve on. They added the gravity gun in Half-Life 2, which is an awesome weapon. But where do you go from there? Like, there's been tons and tons of speculation. Oh, they're going to do this. Oh, it's going to take place here. Oh, it's going to incorporate this obscure detail.
I think the big thing with that is like the story.
Well, I mean,
that's the big thing with a series like that, where it is just like a straight first-person shooter. Like, what are they going to do with the story? Where are they going to take this to make it worth playing?
Exactly. I mean, that's actually one of the reasons I like Half-Life 2 over Half-Life 1. Like, I kind of don't particularly care for Half-Life 1, honestly, because there's not
a lot of story
not
to it.
a lot of story to it. Like, you understand what's going on. There's like,
yeah,
it goes from like, oh, lab accident, oh, aliens, oh, military to kill the aliens, oh, they're killing everybody else, oh, go through the portal, oh, kill the giant alien, portal's gone, everything's gay, lab gets nuked. But then Half-Life 2, there's like actual storytelling, but it's still all first person and still like happening to you as Gordon Freeman and everything like that. It never once takes you out of first person view. So everything is still happening. People are talking to you and telling you the story, basically, because Gordon Freeman's been like in like hibernation for 10 years or whatever. It's never quite explained what happened at the end of Half-Life 1.
Huh.
But
okay.
Yeah, and then episode 2 ends on this massive cliffhanger. And we still don't have Half-Life 3 yet.
I actually kind of feel the same way about Time Splitters, about the whole, like, not really liking the early ones. Because, like the first one, I think back to it, and there's not really much of a story at all. Like, you're just going through different time periods, and it's not very well explained. The second one, I remember having a bit more story to it, but it's still being a little more sparse, but, like, it's actually explaining what you're doing. But it's the third one where I distinctly remember, like, every single level, all the characters, like, they really brought the world to life with that one. And I think that's why I always liked the third Time Splitters, and I feel like, even if we don't play all the games, we should at least play the third one. If we were to play the previous ones, I would say we should play maybe, like, the second one, and just skip over the first one, because there's not really anything to the first one. It's just a shooter where you're going through different time periods, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of generally what the first Half-Life is. Like, there are people who talk to you and tell you, like, where to go next, but overall, it's just a lot of wandering around and shooting at things and hoping you shoot the right thing eventually to move the story on, so you can, like, oh, here's a thing that opens the door. Okay, here's a thing that launches a missile into space for some reason. It's like to hook up to some satellite that can close the portal, but apparently not. And a lot of the stuff you do doesn't actually really get explained.
Weird.
Like, oh, suddenly there's a giant monster. Oh, suddenly I'm in another universe. Okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Why not?
And it's just... I'm not going to say it's bad for that, because, I mean, there's letting you get immersed in a story as it's happening to you, and then there's just plain not telling you what the fuck is going on. And I feel like the first Half-Life is a little bit on that side of it.
I getcha.
So, yeah, and it's just like a typical, like, 90s first-person shooter thing. It's just run around and shoot things. Oh, there's also a story.
Yeah. Well, like, before, too, like, first-person shooters didn't really have much of a story. And arguably, most of them don't still. It's just a thing of the genre. It's more about
well, nowadays, the
thing.
focus is all on, like, multiplayer and stuff.
But,
But, like,
thanks, Halo.
Like, when I think of a 90s RPG, aside from graphical style, because that can be, like, anything, there's a lot of exploring, with finger quotes,
right,
where you're really just wandering around lost. What the fuck do I do? And then you run into some, like, really difficult enemies. It's like, okay, does that mean I'm not supposed to go there? Or am I supposed to find a better way to kill these guys? Because, like, I mean... Like, even my first ever first-person shooter was one of the Star Wars games. It was, there's a series called Dark Forces.
Okay.
And the first one was, like, it was Doom. It was kind of like, it had that 2D sort of thing. I never played that one until very recently, actually. But the second one was Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. And that's the one where you get a lightsaber and stuff about halfway through the game. But it had a lot of those problems with it, where it doesn't tell you exactly where the fuck to go.
You just have to kind of
have to
figure it out and hope.
You follow the armies of stormtroopers and hope you're going in the right direction. Like, And if you kill all the enemies in a big maze-like area, you're kind of fucked. Just wander around until you find something else to shoot.
Wander around until you find that magical button that opens the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember during the last Awesome Games Done Quick, there was someone who did a... Sorry. There's someone who did a speed run of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching it and just being like, how will you figure all that out initially? Just wander around until you find the random thing in the one spot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've played there was some site that had like a browser playable version of Doom, and I played it for like 20 minutes, and it's just like, okay, I get it. This is Doom. This is what it was. It was a very basic first-person shooter. You run around and kill things. I get it. I'm not really into that. And Marathon, Bungie's like original game,
Right?
That kind of morphed into Halo. It was that kind of game too, and it's fairly straightforward at the beginning, and then you get into some more open areas, and it gets really difficult. I didn't get very far in it, but I mean, yeah, and I kind of want to though, because the story is like, there's a lot of story for a '90s
For like an early shooter.
And it's like one of those things where you run around and find the text boxes basically, but because like the story is like a computer AI took over like a Mars colony or something. I don't remember exactly very well. But you would run from terminal to terminal to basically get the story, and there'd be like a little bit of text for you to read, and be like, okay, so and so has done this thing, and so did that thing. I need you to go do this thing, and it's like, okay, that's just enough story to keep me interested, but the game mechanics are a little bit obnoxious, so I'm not going to get very far.
That reminds me, did you ever find all the terminals in Halo?
In which one?
I think it was Halo 3 that they did it, where they had like, there was the achievement, Marathon Man or whatever,
I remember
where you had to go through and find all the terminals.
I think I found like one we found one like by accident, I think, because we were like,
yeah, that sounds
we
right.
were playing it through like the first time you brought it over, and we found the one on the last level, I think.
Yeah, I know there's one that's fairly easy to find. I forget where they all are. There's one that's like way fucking out of your way.
Yeah.
Like there's a mission where you're in I forget what they're called. The flying vehicles though, the human ones.
The Hornet?
Yeah, that sounds right. So you're in one of those and you're flying around, and there's an area where you're supposed to go land and like kill some stuff. But if you fly off this way, go around this huge mountain, there's this other area over here,
wow.
and there's a terminal in there. But yeah, there's
cool.
like 7 of them, I think. That sounds right. That's Bungie's thing.
Yeah, that's...
But they all have like weird little like kind of cryptic text where it's like, there's clearly a story going on.
Yeah,
but
and it's like...
I never really pieced it all together. It's like, been too long.
I remember looking up stuff about it. It's like... It's like the Forerunners used like AI to like run their military stuff, and they were trying to use them against the Flood, and one of them like went berserk and started just killing everybody or something. And
that
I
sounds
forget
like something that would happen.
There was like there was like 2 of them that were like clashing against each other and like messing the whole thing up.
Huh.
But yeah, like Halo 3 was awesome with that, with like all the secrets and stuff.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like just from that alone, I want to say Halo 3 is probably my favorite of the Halo games, because there's like so much secret stuff that like like just recently somebody found like one of the Easter eggs. I think it's like,
really,
yeah, like it was hidden for since the game launched, and I forget how you make it appear, but like on the side of one of the Halo rings in the loading screen, you know how it does like a little hologram and it like pixelates it together?
Yeah.
Like there's like a happy birthday message to somebody on the staff.
Oh wow.
And like yeah, it's like blinking you miss it, I think, but somebody finally found that after like 6 or 7 years.
Jesus.
But yeah, like just all the Easter eggs and all the secret things you can find in there. And how you can just accidentally wander around and be like, oh, what's this glowing thing? Oh, text. Oh, backstory. Huh.
That's one thing I always liked about the Halo games in general. Like, the first one didn't have too much of that, really.
Yeah.
Like, there were a couple of interesting things about that game. A couple of areas where you could like get outside the level, but
Well, that's just glitching. That's not like a mysterious Easter egg or anything.
But like with Halo 2, they made it to where like, yeah, there's stages where you can get out of level, and if you get out of level, there's actually stuff out there. Like there's the Scarab gun, the soccer ball, the sword grave.
The what now?
In the second stage, the city, if you get out and climb along the buildings, there's that one little like area where there's a sword sticking into the ground, and there's stones spelling out Rex, and there's like a blood splatter there. And so it's weird in multiplayer, like if you're playing co-op, it's just the sword. It doesn't have like the little like grave thing there. But with single player, the little grave thing is there, and I guess it's like one of the nicknames of someone on the staff or whatever, and they really like the energy sword, so they put that there.
Nice.
But yeah. And then Halo 3 had even more, like, well, Halo 2 also had the skulls.
Yeah.
But Halo 3 had the skulls, it had the terminals, it had all this other stuff that was just, like, outside the level.
And some of it was, like, so fucking cryptic. Like, the one where you had to jump through the rings to play the Halo theme. How the fuck do you figure that out without a guide?
Yeah, really. Like, you have to just so happen to notice, like, oh, the tone when you're standing next to this ring is slightly different than the tone standing next to that ring.
I'm gonna play a song. What song should I play? Oh, I'll play the Halo theme. But you have to play it, like, exactly the way...
Yeah, you have to know, like, the notes of the Halo theme and, like, which notes the rings correspond. Yeah, it's... I still wonder, like, how people figured some of that stuff out.
You have to, like, with the internet nowadays, it's like...
Oh,
I don't think it's possible to create an Easter egg so cryptic that nobody will have it figured out. Like, I mean, even the, like, loading screen birthday message, somebody eventually found that.
Yeah.
It took them a while, but nothing is going to remain hidden forever.
It's like that thing in Donkey Kong, the like initials or whatever that show up on the title screen. And it took, like, what, 15 years to find it or whatever? Yeah. But someone found it eventually.
Exactly. Like, I mean...
I think at that point it just comes down to,
you have to wonder, like, how many Easter eggs
are out there
that haven't been found, if there are any. Just...
But yeah, I'd say with, like, the Halo games, like, my favorite one, as far as, like, finding stuff, would be, like, Halo 3, because there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
My favorite stage, like single stage for that stuff, is the second stage of Halo 2, because there's the sword, like with climbing all the buildings and stuff. That stage also has, you can spawn a warthog that is invincible, like, because that's where they made vehicles destructible, and we found that completely on accident. The fact that there was a random warthog that would spawn that was invincible, it can't get destroyed no matter what you do to it. But my favorite one story wise is ODST. And a lot of people didn't like ODST, and I think part of it is ODST didn't really have its own multiplayer. Like, it had the disc with it that was Halo 3's multiplayer, and it had Firefight, which I don't think had any matchmaking. It was just, like, invite your friends. And people didn't like Firefight as much. I can kind of understand why I liked the game mode, but I personally like the story of that one and the whole, like, crawling around the city, like, finding the different things, and then, like, learning, like, oh, okay, this kind of bent sniper rifle is here because all this happened previously. And you got all these different points of view throughout it.
It's kind of like an open world, sort of, like...
Yeah.
I didn't play all that, like, the only time I've ever played it was with you, and it wasn't... I don't think we got all that far into it. I remember bits of it, like...
Yeah.
And then I remember trying to get that one achievement, where you have the mongooses and you have to do, like, the last level.
Oh, that one's not too bad. But there's the achievement where it's beat Firefight on... It's on Heroic, because doing it on Legendary is impossible. It's, like, straight up. I don't believe anyone can do it. And it's, like, reach the fourth set of the fourth... Or the fifth set of the fourth... Of the, like...
It's get really far into a firefight.
Ugh. Whatever it was. Like, wave whatever, set whatever, round whatever. Or, no, it was just get through the fourth set. But then a set is comprised of 3 rounds, and a round is comprised of 5 waves.
So that's a shitload of Covenant.
Yeah, the furthest we ever made it it was me, you, and a couple others. I forget exactly who. But it was set 2, round 2, wave 2. And we died. That was the furthest we ever made it.
Wow. It's one of those things where you have to have, like, you have a strategy, everybody knows a strategy, everybody knows what they do for the strategy, and everybody carries out their part flawlessly.
Yeah, even
like,
when I was trying
that... if one person dies,
that,
the whole thing is fucked from the beginning.
Pretty much. Even when I was trying that with, like, the group of us that played the most, like, we were the best, like, we didn't make it that far because one of the biggest problems is one of our group, he got a lot of kills. Like, he could clear an entire wave. Problem is, he died a lot as well.
Yeah.
Like, KD ratio, he had the most kills per deaths, but he also had the most deaths.
Yeah.
And since it's a survival variant, the more you die, the worse off you are.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, even though he was killing everything, it was kind of working against us, so we never made it very far.
That makes sense.
But yeah, it's the only achievement I don't have in ODST. But yeah, there's the one where it's, in the final level, you get a scorpion, you get a mongoose, or you get a warthog, but if you just walk forward a bit, there's a tunnel you go down, if you're on 4-player legendary, and there's 2 mongooses, 4 rocket launchers, with 999 ammo. So you just pick up the rocket launcher, have someone right on the back, and you have to beat the level in the mongooses. Mm-hmm. And there's the one part where...
Buck, scarab!
I see it. It's heading over the ridge.
Must have dropped off one of those cruisers.
Just keep going. It hasn't noticed us yet.
You can quote the dialogue from memory because we fucked up so many times.
Well, the problem with that bit is, like, the scarab walks by, and so he's in the elephant. It can't die. Like, if it dies, you lose.
Yeah.
And he charges forward, and there's a wraith halfway down that bridge.
So you have to be ahead of him and kill the wraith before he gets to it.
Yes. But you also have to have the iron skull on for that achievement. So if any of you die, you go back to the last checkpoint. So you have to kill the wraith without any of you dying before he gets killed by it. And it's bullshit.
And if anybody dies, you have to hear the dialogue again.
Yep.
Fuck, scared.
We beat it. No, we got that achievement. We beat it. But, God, I spent like the next week with Buck, Scarab.
Oh, man.
Drilled into my brain. Of course, then later, like, I found that, like, clip and, like, took just that little bit of audio and made it into a text tone.
So every time you get a text message, Buck, Scarab.
I kept it until the point where, so, Tim's old phone, it used to, like, so when he'd send a message, if he would forward a message, it would add this, like, little bit of, like, forwarded, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. If the message was too long, it would send it into multiple messages.
Oh, yeah?
So what he would do is he'd just send a message that said, like, hi, and then he'd forward it to you, and then he'd forward that, and then so it kept making the message longer and longer, so eventually he'd send one, and you would get 7 texts. So, I'm sitting there in the inquisitive, we're playing Magic the Gathering, and suddenly my phone just starts going, Buck, Scarab, Buck, Scarab, Beck, Scarab, Buck, Scarab. And, like, it's like 200 messages in, like, 2 minutes is all it takes. Just 4, you're done. It's just sitting there like, oh my god, turn this thing off, set it off to the side, watch it just, like, blink every once in a while.
Wow, you'd think that when you receive a bunch of messages at one time, it'd be like, hey, you got a shit ton of messages. And
Nope.
that would be it.
Nope,
And I was like, hey, you got a message. Hey, you got a message. Hey, you got a message. Hey, you got a message.
He ruined every single one of my text tones with that. Like, every time I have a new text tone, he's like, oh, you have a new text tone? It's like, I hate you so much right now.
Oh, man. I think I've had the same, like, text message ringtone for, like, several years now.
Yeah, I've had mine for about 4 years now.
Because mine is the Metal Gear Solid, like, Drrrt! So, first of all, it scares the shit out of me whenever I have it on and I'm not expecting one. I'll just be, like, sitting there doing something like, Jesus Christ! That's my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's been the Fluttershy, yay, for about 4 years now. It's weird. It's really quiet, but it's, like, just loud enough that I hear it, and strangely, I'm more likely to wake up to that than I am to my alarm. Like,
I'd like
I could be
okay.
dead asleep, my alarm starts going off, and it's loud. And it's just like, whatever. But someone sends me a text, and instantly I'm like, huh? What? Yay.
Well, it's probably more to do with, like, your response to getting a text message.
Maybe.
Versus your response to, like, oh, I have to get up now, god damn it. Whereas a text message is like, oh, someone's trying to tell me something, maybe I should see what that is.
Maybe. Like that subconscious of, like, hey, what's going on? But yeah, I just hear that quiet little yay.
Like, as rarely as I get text messages, my immediate reaction is, oh, someone's trying to tell me something. It's probably something important. I should at least see what it is.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh, okay, somebody's doing something, whatever. Or, somebody's dying, call an ambulance. Oh!
That sounds important.
I should probably do that. Wait, why did you text me instead of calling an ambulance yourself?
Yeah. Maybe they can't call. Maybe they can only send texts.
Maybe. But that was just like an example. But yeah. It's usually somebody trying to tell me something either I need to know or they want me to know. So, it's generally in my best interest to be like, oh,
yeah,
I should read that.
Makes sense.
Especially if I'm not at home and everybody in my family is at home. It's like, oh, something's going on. I need to know about that. Okay. Now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
Because knowledge is power?
Sure. Oh. But knowledge is power, and power corrupts people. And corruption is evil.
So knowledge is evil?
Wait a minute. Corruption is a crime, and crime doesn't pay. So knowledge will leave you broke. That explains everything!
Terrible logic.
Well, it's like they say, ignorance is bliss.
Is it really, though?
Well, if you use your money to buy happiness...
But money can't buy happiness.
It can buy things that make you happy.
Yeah,
and that's kind of close, because, it depends on how you define happiness, really. Like, if it's just the state of being happy, then you can buy drugs that put you in a state of being happy. So technically, you have bought happiness.
There's other stuff you could buy that could make you happy.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, being directly going into a state of happiness. Versus doing something that makes you happy, which puts you into that state of happiness. Which you can also do.
Yeah. That saying always reminds me of the Weird Al song, This Is the Life, where there's the line, if money can't buy me happiness, I guess I'll have to rent it.
I'm sure there's some way you can interpret that makes it into something incredibly profound. Just like, I never thought about it that way. My entire outlook on life has been changed.
What a magical day this is.
So how would you rent happiness as opposed to buying it?
I don't know. Hooker?
You're still buying the actions that are being performed.
Well, if you look at it in the way of, like getting married is like buying because you have to buy, like, this ring and it's forever. But,
theoretically.
Theoretically, yeah.
Nowadays.
Divorces happen, but, theoretically, ideally, you're getting married for life. Like, that's forever. So that would be like buying happiness. Whereas, like, a hooker, that's renting because it's just for that one night.
That makes sense.
That's one way of looking at it. Maybe not the best way, but I think it makes a good metaphor.
So where does people who are friends for the sole purpose of sex come into that? Because you're not buying anything, but you're not marrying them either. You're just kind of together to have sex.
Freebie? Free samples? It's like a free sample.
I mean, I don't know if that's really a sample, because unless you only do it once.
I mean, they're always
I think
there.
a one-night stand would be a free sample.
Well, like free samples, like they're always there at the store. You can come back and get more if you want.
True.
Like
until they recognize you and be like, "Hey, come on, buy something." And then you're
if
like,
you like these so much, why don't you buy one?
I'm poor.
I need more of these chocolates.
I need more of these fried weird little fish things that are... They sound weird in concept, but after tasting a free sample, I've decided I really like them.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, I was going to, I just grabbed my 3DS because I was going to go to the Me thing and make sure I get that picture before I forget about it.
Oh, okay.
Because that's something I can just kind of, like, do silently without it picking up.
Well, now that I've called attention to it...
Yeah,
We've come full circle into discussing Smash Brothers for the 3DS.
In a way, yes. Because Kawhitler. It's not just Kawhi Hitler, it's Kawhitler.
Of course. That sounds weird, though. I'm just gonna call him Kawhi Hitler.
That's fine.
Senpai.
Notice me, senpai. He's also short and fat.
Fucking ridiculous. Oh my god. That's just...
the button. Oh, there it is.
That's just disturbing. Oh, it also gives you a QR code too, huh?
Yeah, you can save the
So you can download your own Kawhi Hitler.
Should I put that so you can put it like at the on the video?
Just do it. Yeah. Kawhi Hitler with the QR code. Because why not?
Here, I need to do an edit on him real quick, but that's fine.
Oh my god, I can't believe this is a thing.
This is most definitely a thing now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no, I was just checking like the continuity. I was checking the like sharing options or whatever on it.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Save me as QR code. Choose me, Kawhitler. There we go.
And here we go.
Cool.
Ding. Sweet. Oh boy.
Today's a good day.
Today is a good day. Because neither of us are really sick.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still kind of ick, for lack of a better term. But, no, it's doing well. Doing well.
You've recovered to a sufficient amount that recording SpellCast and GamingWizards is not an ordeal.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, we're playing Shadow of the Colossus, and I'm sorry I sound a little weird, it's because I'm sick. Okay. That's a bad voice.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't destroy your throat. We still have more recording to do.
I know, we still have to record Symphony tonight.
Symphony.
I don't think I've ever done a voice that scratchy before. Not on purpose, at least. I think we're probably done here, aren't we?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that's a good
We're
point
almost
to
at an
end it.
hour. I was thinking of trying to stall for another 2 minutes just so it's an even hour.
So we talked about everything from
we talked about
Smash Bros. To Halo.
FPSs in general.
Yeah.
A little bit of
There's some Dragon Age in there.
Dragon Age. I managed to work in Star Wars again. Briefly. It's weird how that comes up. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt, actually.
Nice.
If you want to go for another half hour, I can talk about the new show that started.
Nah.
Long story short, I like it. For the long story, go read my blog that I still have.
Yeah. I actually want to... I already read that, so...
Yeah.
So that's why you don't need to...
Yeah, okay.
Need to bring it up. Or
Well, thanks
talk
for
about it right
listening.
now.
We'll see you next week, hopefully, unless we get sick again.
Yeah, unless one of us dies or whatever.
Words long.
Downside is now I actually have to mess with the wall.
Whatever.
But I like being lazy.
Well, that's not very professional. Not
What,
that
being lazy?
Yes.
I think being lazy is pretty damn professional.
It depends.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the profession.
Yeah. Like, if you're programming something and you can do it your way faster because you're lazy, that's good.
Yeah.
You can just, waste time doing something else and make it seem like it took longer to justify you having your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I did this whole thing in like 5 minutes, but we'll say it took me 2 hours. Sure.
Well, programming is just a fucking nightmare anyway, so...
Yeah, it is. Ow. You snap yourself with a rubber band?
Yes.
Why?
That's how I feel about this game. It's like snapping yourself with a rubber band.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so you know that one time when you died a bunch in Super Meat Boy? It's like you did this.
Ow! I'm not wearing fucking jeans. They don't,
Hurts either way.
They don't absorb the impact as well as jeans do.
Jeans don't really absorb the impact very well as it is. I'm just saying. I still
Fucking
feel
rubber
it.
bands.
Rubber bands are evil.
And
I missed that one that I had that was like this big, and it was like this thick instead of like this thick. It was like this thick. That thing was epic. Wonder what happened to it. I don't remember if it broke from me messing with it or if someone stole it.
Or if it just got lost in the abyss.
No, I'm pretty sure it either broke or someone stole it. Because that's just how I remember things.
Okay. So you choose to remember things in the worst way possible.
It's not really a conscious choice. I think it's just how things happen for me.
I see. So tell me about your childhood.
I remember smashing my pinky in a door.
Oh.
You can still see, like, the mark. It's, like, there and, like, there.
I had my head smashed in a car door once.
How was that?
Painful.
I can imagine. Just doing the audio tests.
But to the best of my knowledge, there wasn't any long-term brain damage, so I'm pretty sure I turned out okay. That's not like I was an infant or anything. I was like 14 or 15.
Slash. Yeah, I don't know. I just totally lost my train of thought. I was gonna say something again, and then, pew, gone.
Okay.
So when we recorded Chrono Trigger, can we start it off with previously on Dragon Ball Z?
If you really want to, but I mean,
Shut up!
previously on Dragon Ball. Shut no! Stop it! No! No! Stop!
Ball Z!
God damn it!
Previously on Dragon Ball Z, I opened a bottle of balls. And then I will open my balls. I have a balls in the fridge. I'll probably get it when we start recording Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
Well, because it'll be later, and to make sure I don't
Caffeine,
get tired.
yeah.
Fucking,
Understandable.
fucking energy drink. Plus, we can talk about balls.
Because that's the highlight of drinking balls, is referring to the name.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's like the reason why it's so popular with gamers.
It is because of the name.
Yeah. Like if it was called anything else, I don't think it'd be as popular.
Like, hey, you want some balls? That was funny the first time. It was funny the second time. It was funny the 217th time.